Combining data from multiple Excel files into a single Excel file is one of the most commonly done data cleaning tasks. Most people do that by copying and pasting data. But in this video, I want to test out Claude's capabilities to automatically do that using Excel and Power Query. At every single level, I'll notch up the complexity a bit higher, and let's just see if Claude can actually do that. Wherever Claude makes a mistake or a judgment error, I will step in and I will help you explain how do you do that better. So Claude is actually going to do the work. The learning is going to come from me. Without any further ado, let's start. Let's just start at level 1, where I explain you what data do we have, and we have to combine all of that data into a single Excel file. Right now, the complexity level is at level 1. I have a folder which is where I have multiple Excel files, and if I just peek into the file, you're going to see that that's the kind of data that we have. We have the first column is date, sales rep, customer, amount, profit, and the region, and this data obviously belongs to the year of 2005. The same data runs across year 2006 with the very same column. Structurally, the data is no different whatsoever, and in year 7 as well, it is just the same date, sales rep, customer, amount, profit, and the region. The very first thing that I want to do is that I want to tell Claude what am I trying to do using Excel and Power Query, and let's just see if Claude needs any more context, any more information from us or not. I'm going to start with writing a simple prompt that I want to combine data from multiple Excel files which are there in a folder using Power Query. What other information do you need? Let's just see what Claude has to respond to this. At this stage, Claude has asked me some very intelligent questions, and I'm going to answer them as a business user, not somebody who knows how to work with Power Query. So let's just take a look at the question. It asks you, hey, where is the folder path? And we should give it that. Then it asks, hey, do the files have the same structure, the same number of columns and things like that? Yes. Which sheet is the data in every single Excel file? Because the Excel file can have multiple number of sheets, and it is asking us that which sheet contains the data in every single file. Then it is asking for headers. Does every single file contain the header in the first row? That's fair. And then it is asking, should I grab every single XLSX file in the folder, matching the pattern? I'm not really sure about that. I'm going to act naive and skip this particular question. And then it's Excel or OS, Windows Excel 2016 has full Power Query, Mac support, and I will also not answer this question. So let's just see that if I answer these questions, what does Claude do next? At this stage, Claude has literally asked me to do the process, and if I just maybe go through this particular process, Claude is literally saying the things which has numerous videos on the internet. Go to the data tab, get data from file from folder. Then it is asking that, hey, why don't you stick the path of the folder, click the combine button, pick up sheet 1, and then magically it will combine the data by creating a few helper queries. Good. At the end of the day, it is also asking me that, do you want me to write out the M code directly so that you can paste in the advanced editor instead of clicking through? Let's see if Claude can actually do that or not. All right, Claude has given us some code, and it says that go to the data tab, get data, launch Power Query editor, make a new query, and then stick that in the advanced editor of the query. I know how to do that, so I'm just going to take this code and place it inside of Power Query. Let's just see if this actually works or not. So I'm in Power Query and I have created a blank query right here. I'm going to go over to the View tab, click on the Advanced Editor, and let's just kind of paste the code here that Claude gave us, and let's just see if that code works or not. It is picking up the folder.files from a single folder, doing all of this work. I'm going to act naive that I don't understand any bit of this. Let's just see if it actually combines the data from those Excel files or not. So I'm going to go over to Done, and it does actually combine the data. Let's just review the steps that Claude has actually given us. So if you just take a look at the source step, it is going to that particular folder, grabbing all the files. Good. Then it is filtering the files, and it is keeping only the Excel files. Should there be any other files in the folder, it's excluding that. That's really nice. Then it is adding a sheet data. That means it is taking these Excel files right here, converting them into tables, and making a column on the far right that where you can read the data from. So if you take a look, now the data can be read. These are all the columns. Good to go. It's removing all the other columns which are not needed, and that's good. These are all the tables right here. This is the source, the name of the Excel file. It is calling that as the source file, and then it is combining the data from all of those files. And that is pretty good. Note that because we asked Claude to directly create the query for us, we don't really have any helper queries right here, and a single query actually produces the correct result. There are two things to note in this particular query is that Claude has not given us the code that applies the data type on every single column. That means this is a text column, this is any, this is any, this is any, so on and so forth. That means once I actually go ahead and close and load the data, you're going to see that the data types are not applied because Claude did not know what data is there in the folder. So obviously it did not give us the data type. And if you don't know how to do that, you're kind of stuck and you'll have to chat again and again with Claude to get that right. Nonetheless, I will tell you the solution for that. Another thing, if you actually go back to the query, you're going to see that at the moment, the source, which is our folder, is hard coded in the query. Go to the source tab and you will see that the source is hard coded. So should we create multiple queries right here that are referring to this particular source? And if you want to change the source, we will have to go in every single query's source tab and change that manually. This should ideally have been a parameter that you can reference it in the query and this should change everywhere. Let's just make those two changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the home tab. In the home tab, we have manage parameters and I want to make a new parameter. I'm going to give that parameter, let's say a name. I'm going to call this as my file folder path and the data type is going to be a text. And right now I will just write whatever folder path like 1 or A or something. I'm going to click on OK and that's my folder path. Now it obviously is not A, it's that D drive or whatever. So I'm just going to go back right here and I'm going to say that, hey, you are going to be referring to the folder path. This is the folder path that I will copy and I will reference this to the folder path. Now, obviously the folder path contains the value A and A is not the right thing, but I'm just going to actually paste my folder location right here. And that is going to be referenced inside of the query without any quotation marks. Once I do that, this folder path now kicks in inside of query number 1. And if you can see that now this is referring to the folder path. That's correction number 1. Correction number 2 is that what I'd like to do is I'd like to select all of the columns of the data and I would want Power Query to decide what different data type it wants to apply. So I want to select all the columns by pressing the shortcut Control A. Then I want to go over to the transform tab and I'll click on detect data type. Once I do that, Power Query automatically reads the data, just the sample data, and changes the type of the column. This is going to be a date, text, decimal number, whatever, and it applies the type. In case you're not really satisfied with Power Query's decision and you would want to change the type, sure enough, you can make the changes right here and that is going to be applied. Quick interruption in case you're liking the video thus far, you're absolutely going to love my courses on Power BI, DAX, data modeling, M language and Power Query. I have these structured courses where I start talking about concepts, fundamental concepts right from scratch. And then I take the students to the next level by talking about how to think, how to construct the logic of the problem and start solving harder problems on your own. Hundreds and thousands of students have joined my courses and they have provided some raving feedback. In case you're interested, the link of the courses is going to be down in the description. I look forward to seeing you inside the course. Let's get back to the video. Let's make the case a bit more interesting and let's just see that if we add one more file to that folder and if we change the names of one of those columns, which could be very realistic in a real life, does our query automatically adapt or not? And can we give a prompt to Claude to automatically handle that and give us the revised code? If you take a look at the folder right here, again, I have got all of these files and I have placed a new file called year 2008, which is where I have now the column called not a customer, but a client. This column client was the same as customer in all of the previous files, but in 2008, it got changed to client. Let's just go ask Claude what to do about this. I'm going to ask Claude that I have placed a new file in the folder and one of the columns that was named customer and was consistent in the previous file has now been changed to something called as client. What should I do? At this stage, Claude is asking me to do something a bit unrealistic. It says that why don't you open up your Excel file and rename the client as a customer and then just feed the data and it would just work. Obviously it would work. I know about it, but you can't be realistic like that. You can't just start manually changing the files, even though a lot of people do that, but you can't really do that and expect this to be scalable. Then it gives me some bit of M code and I'm hoping that this code is going to take care of the renaming issue. Let's just go verify if this code works or not. So I'm just going to copy this code, go back to my query, and I will start to create a new query and not disturb this query. I'm going to go over to the data tab and then I'll say get data and then I'll say from other sources and I'm going to choose to make a blank query. In the blank query that gets created, I'm going to go over to the view advanced editor and that is where I will stick my Power Query code that Claude gave me. So that's the code. I'll click on done and let's just take a look. Does it combine all the 3 years of files or not? So yes, 2005, 6, 7 and 8. It was a bit of naming inconsistency, but that's all right. And you can see that we have a single column called customer coming from all the files and there are no blanks in there, that's actually really, really good. Let's just take a look at what Claude has done right here. I go over to the source tab, the same mistake, the file has been hard-coded. Nonetheless, that's all right. It has filtered the files. That means it is not picking up any other files other than Excel. Then it is adding a sheet. That means every single binary is picked up from here and then added a column on the far right, converting that particular binary into a readable table. So that's my table. If you just peek inside of the table at the moment, you're going to see that the last one does have the name renamed. It is now called the customer, and every single file is now renamed to a customer right here, which is actually pretty good. If I just take a look at the code, the client has been renamed to a customer, and that is really awesome. It has done that, but this particular issue is now static and it's there in your query, and it will not automatically update should the query change once again and this becomes not client but clients the next time. So it's not a very robust solution. Nonetheless, we get our answer right. Then it just keeps the columns which are going to be used, expands the tables, combines the files, and it filters the rows, and it is all kind of good right here. The only additional thing that I will do, which I also did it in the past, was that, hey, I will change the data type and I will also kind of reference this to the source, which is this one. At this stage, if you want to learn that how do I build a query which automatically adapts to changing column names, I've done a very exhaustive video on that, and you should definitely check that one out. A lot of people seem to have benefited from that single video. I highly recommend that you go take a look at that. Let's raise the bar further up in level 3. I am making it even more harder and even more practical for Claude to solve this problem. What I've done is, in the year of 2008, where the customer was unintentionally called the column as client, I've added a few junk rows on the top, and let's just see if Claude actually handles that. So now there are two anomalies to fix. One is the client, and there are a few junk rows up on the top. I write another very naive prompt as a business user and say that I have another problem. The file that had contained the column as client has now got a few junk rows on the top. The rest of the files have consistent headers. The first row is the headers, but this one has got a few junk rows to be removed, and then the actual data starts. Let's just see how Claude handles that. All right, Claude has given me a bunch of code, and if I don't understand the M language, I do not really know what the heck is this. It has also given me a couple of caveats and what has changed. If I just take a look at the most important thing, the one thing to watch is that it says that it has done some list.contains. So just in case if the customer and the client column change, which are hard-coded in the query is going to break. Let's just go ahead, see what happens if I just maybe copy and paste the query. I'm going to come back to Excel and create a third blank query and just stick my code right there. Let's just take a look at what happens. So I'm going to go over to data, then get data, and I'll say, hey, I want to have some blank query created. In the blank query created, I'm going to go over to the advanced editor and delete all of that code right there and stick the code that Claude actually gave me. I don't understand this code. Let's just pretend that, and I'm going to click on done. Let's just see what happens. If I go over to the source and start evaluating and that what Claude has done, in the source, this needs to be obviously changed to the path, the correct path. Then if you just maybe skip to the add sheet data step, if I go over to the far right, you can see that it has actually created a table for Power Query to read the data. If I maybe peek inside of the table, you can see that the headers are good. They are in the first position. Good headers, and then again, good headers. That means it did remove all the junk rows up on the top. Let's just try to make sense of the code that Power Query has done. If I maybe just click on the gear icons and just try to read this particular code, you're going to see that this particular code is looking for two words. It is looking for a customer word or it is looking for a client word, because right now Claude has no understanding of the data whatsoever. So the two words that we gave it, which were customer and client, it understood that those are the very headers of the data. It just hard-coded these two words, which it also actually gave us as a warning. And then it just went ahead and skipped the number of rows that were not containing these words. So it just skipped those rows, and then it promoted the headers, changed the names of the headers, and then good to go. If at this stage you do not know all of this code that is happening inside a Power Query, this is going to create a royal mess inside of the data. And then the process thereon is just the same. All of this is good, and the tables do get combined. Yes, the problem is solved, but should the column names keep on changing, we will not be able to rely on this code, and this is going to break at any point in time. If I were the one designing the query myself, here is what I would have done that you can also do it. Now, imagine that you have a couple of junk rows up on the top. My judgment of finding out where the headers are going to be starting is not by the name of the exact column, but by how many values are filled without me knowing which column contains what data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look that if any of these column columns are blank, then that obviously is not the header of the data. So you can see that there is one column blank and it's not the header of the data. So I'm going to skip this particular row. I'm going to skip this particular row. I'm going to skip this particular row, and I'm going to skip this particular row. The only time when I find all the headers of the data and all the columns which are filled with some value or the other, that's when I will know that I have found the legit headers of the data, and beyond that I will stop to skip the rows. Now note that this particular approach requires no hard feeding of the columns whatsoever. In case you would like to learn this particular technique, I've done another video on that, and you should definitely take a look at that as well. My aim from this video was to help you learn that how do you solve problems using Claude, but also to verify the result of the Claude and take a look at the vulnerabilities in data cleaning and data analysis in your own data cleaning journey. If you've liked this one, you would want to watch another video of mine where I'm asking Claude to solve different complicated problems in Excel and then trying to assess if the results are correct or not. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to see you in that video. Cheers.